Okay. Welcome to the June
Two.
what,
Second.
2nd meeting of Scituate Conservation Commission. A couple of quick things to read. This meeting's being held virtual as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You're hereby that this meeting and all communications during the meeting may be recorded by the town of Scituate in accordance with the open meeting law. And the town of Scituate's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during our meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized, minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards and to support and respect our community. So with that, I want to see if we can get an okay on the agenda.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as written unless there's any add-ons.
I maybe have one quick one for Appleton Field,
Okay, we're a quick one for Appleton Field.
but so that's Penny. Do I have a second?
Second from Jen.
Thank you, Jen. All in favor, Richard
Yes.
and Brendan
Yes.
and Eric
Yes.
and Frank, yes.
Frank, may I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I believe we have two or three of the items that are being continued. Would it be good to do those first and get them out of the way so anybody waiting will know?
Sure. Good idea. What do we have, Jen, for continuances?
113 River Street, 21 Central, and then we received today a request to continue 50 Eli Ave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to Richard's point, 113 River Street, when they want to continue to June 30th.
Yep.
You're okay
Yes.
with that? So I have a motion.
I make a motion, we continue 113 River Street to June 30th.
That's Penny. Second
I'll second that.
from Richard. All in favor, Jen,
Yep.
Brendan, Eric,
Brendan's
Yes.
there. I can see him.
and Frank,
But
yes.
we can't hear him.
Okay,
Oh,
that's all right. What was the next one?
Yes.
And
Eli.
there we go.
Can you hear me now?
So we got you loud and clear. You came in really clear on the first part, but I don't know. We lost you for a second.
50 Eli is the next one, but I
So
don't know
50
where.
Eli, and they want to continue.
Next available is June 30th.
So June
Okay.
30th.
30. Okay, I make a motion, we continue 50 Eli to June 30th.
That's from Penny. Second
I'll second that.
from Brendan. All in favor, Richard,
Yep.
Eric,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. And then
21 Central.
21
Yeah.
Central. And
To August 18th.
do we, wait a minute. I'm
Wait.
sorry. Eli Ave, do we need to open that?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Well,
We can get to it on when we get to it also.
all right, but we are going to, that is going to be continued for anybody that has an interest in that, but
Yeah.
we're going to have to open it first.
And 21 Central Ave.
Actually,
The amendment as well, we need to open.
113 River Street. So we will be opening that, but we won't be discussing anything. We'll just continue it. Okay, sorry. And then 21 Central Ave, this has already been continued. And now they're requesting to continue it out to August 18th.
Yes.
Okay, and that I assume is because there's a lot of complications.
Right. They're working on dealing with comments.
Okay. All right, so I can take a motion to continue that one.
Okay, I make a motion to continue 21 Central Ave, 7 Marshfield Ave to August 18th.
I'll second that.
That's from Richard. All in favor. Penny,
Yep.
Jen
Yep.
and Brendan
Yes.
and Eric.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank
Now
you.
we'll go back to the first.
Okay. So this is 36 10th Ave, and I'm going to recluse myself because this is a
Did we
customer.
do the comments, our opening comments?
Yes,
I did. I read off
yeah.
Okay. All right.
yep. I know that that's a spellbinder. Some people don't, but I did do it.
No, he did,
All
and
right.
I'll vouch for him.
All right. I thought everybody hung on every word.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
okay. So it's all yours, Jen.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So on June 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 of the Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by Anthony DeMare for the reconstruction of a garage located at 36 10th Ave in Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the town website. All right. Jen, who do we
We have
have
Brad
for
Holmes
this?
here to
Okay.
present, and if he can let me know who else to unmute also, that would be great.
Thank you, Jen. Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes from the ECR. Jim Duffy, the architect, may be available. He was going to try to log in if he can find him. If not, he said he'd be available to join in later. Um, we've submitted a notice of intent for 36 10th Avenue. The site contains a single-family home with a paved driveway, detached garage, lawn and landscape and deck. The site is entirely within land subject to coastal storm flowage, which is at an elevation of 15 feet. There is a marsh to the northwest of the site across from 36 10th Ave, but we're not within the buffer zone to that wetland. So we're in the coastal flood zone only. So what we've submitted is a notice of intent for a reconstruction of a detached garage. And what I've done is I was able to put an aerial image of the site together with the site plan to kind of give you a little bit of illustration of what the proposed work is, and we can go back to the plan. So this is a near map image, and I've overlaid the architect's drawing over it. So you can see that the existing garage, which says proposed two-story structure, that's the existing detached garage that's on site now. That's proposed to be raised, and a new garage would be constructed basically in the same footprint, but extended to the south. So you can see that I've shaded in that new garage footprint. That's additional structure beyond the existing structure that sits there today. At the back of the garage would be a new deck. That's the area proposed in brown. And then within the lawn and landscaped area, a new pervious patio is proposed. That's the area shaded in blue. As you move closer to the existing house and the existing detached garage, there's existing walkway and patio there that would be reconfigured to match the new pervious patio that's proposed. And there's a configuration of the deck just at the end of the deck where the existing deck kind of comes out at an angle. The new deck would be reconstructed so that there's a stairway on either side. I didn't shade that just because it is kind of able to be seen as is. Um, Jen, would you be able to pull up the plan?
Yes,
That
I know
that
you sent one previously. I wasn't able to get that in the folder quite in time.
No problem. The only thing that was different on that I sent to you was this plan with an erosion control line drawn in just to
Mhm.
surround the work area. And then I overlaid the FEMA map so that you could see if the commission wanted to see where the site lies in relation to FEMA. But I have that handy if you'd like to bring it in. So this is the site plan. You can see the proposed garage as I just detailed and the outline of the patio and the reconfiguration of the deck. As I said, everything's within existing lawn and landscape structure, and the garage will be constructed so that it has breakout panels, FEMA compliant breakout panels, so that floodwaters can pass through if needed. And the existing elevation of the land is about ranges between 13 and 14 feet. So we're only in, say, 1 to 2 feet of floodwaters. So it's not uh, that extensive where, the first floor is going to be a garage. So the foundation will have breakout panels. With that, I'll bring it back to the commission for any questions.
Don't, Jake.
Jen, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Well, he answered my first question about if the footprint was the same, so it's a bit bigger. Land subject to coastal storm flowage. No comments from DEP. We did receive structurals, so those have a bit more information about the footings for the decks and the staircases. I think I don't know if you sent them recently, but some details for the permeable pavers. And I think my other question was about a limit of work, which you added to the plan. So at the moment, most of my questions were answered except for details on the pavers.
Okay, I don't think we have details on the permeable pavers, but whatever the commission is, uh, prefers, we can include that and get you a better detail on that.
Those are all my questions, Jen.
Okay. Let's see. Penny, you want to start us off?
Yeah, my first question, Brad, is what's the concrete way down the end of the lot?
Uh, let
Say
me,
that rectangle, does it say?
right. Um,
Yeah,
Let me pull up an image.
uh,
I don't know what that is. It's a pad. I'm looking at aerial image and I just
yeah.
see a concrete pad. I don't know
What use it is?
use it is, or maybe it's the remnants of something long ago, but it's just a pad in the grass.
All right, all right. Um, no, I think the plan is pretty self-explanatory. Um, you are enlarging the garage. You're putting a deck on the back. Is that deck up on the second floor or the first?
Second floor.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So I'm gonna assume an apartment or something's going in there, but that's not my concern. And then you have the pavers. Okay. I'm all set at the moment, Jen. I don't see anything that jumps out at me. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Brendan?
Um, so you said that there are breakout panels. Is that for just the flood vents?
Y Yes, the flood vents.
Okay. And I guess I missed it. How much larger is the garage? How much further? Like, what is it now, and how much further are we
Sure.
going?
Um, Jen, would you be able to pull up that aerial overlay?
Mm.
There. Thank you, Jen. You can see the existing detached garage and then the new garage is proposed in yellow. So that new shaded yellow where I have it listed as new garage footprint, that's what's additional proposed beyond what's existing.
Okay, so like a third. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all I had. I don't have any other questions.
that's a huge deck.
I'm all set.
Okay. Eric.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, the first question I had was just um, had to do with the pavers. Just didn't know like what kind of, or really what the pervious surface was going to be, and sort of like what the material was to sort of bind those pavers, if that's what you guys land on. But I'll wait to see the detail on that, so no worries there. Is the deck as it's currently constructed, that's going to be altered as well? Is that how I understand it, Brad?
Yes, so you see if you look at the existing deck that's along the back of the existing house, that's the majority of the deck stays the same, but just that left-hand corner where I have deck stairway reconfiguration, the
Yeah,
deck currently comes down at an angle. It's just going to be straightened basically with a stairway on either end.
sure, sure. And the fire pit, is that going to be retained in a new location, or is that just going to be sort of eliminated because of the new construction and of the new garage and deck?
We weren't proposing to relocate it further down into the lawn area. If we weren't addressing the fire pit. If they were going to do a fire pit within the pervious paver system, we could get a detail to the commission on that.
Yeah, I was just curious. I saw it in the overlay here, so I just didn't know if that was coming into the discussion at all. But I think that's all I have. I mean, we're out of buffer zone, so there's yeah, I think I'm good for right now, Jen.
Okay.
I know with the permeable pavers, we'll have 6 to 8 inches of crushed stone under, and then whatever the gap spacing is that the commission requires, we would use that.
Okay, cool. That is helpful. Thanks, Brad.
Okay. I think the only question I might have remaining would, and it's a kind of a carryover from the deck stairway reconfiguration. Is that or maybe not a carryover, but more of a um is there currently lattice work underneath this house? I didn't get a chance to drive by it.
Mm-mm.
I don't have an answer on that. I know that it's an elevated deck, certainly.
Yeah.
It's certainly above the flood zone, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure what if it has a
Just I
underneath.
just kind of calling out like it would have to for Jen's orders just whatever my mind is blanking on the Jen, what do we call the uh the vertical wood
Lattice,
under,
lattice.
yeah, lattice. I thought we had something else too. Um
Or up and down. I don't
yeah.
know. Yeah, I
It's a
know what
Monday. Thank you for supporting me mentally, Penny.
flats. Flats.
Yeah, that would just be my only call out that it would have to, be consistent with whatever's in Jen's orders. Um, do we have anybody in the audience for this one? Now would be the time to use the raise your hand feature. Oh, wait, Richard, I forgot you. Sorry.
Thanks. Um,
Don't be hurt.
I'm not. So just a couple of very quick things. The paved drive is already there and it's going to be retained, correct?
Correct.
I think what Brendan was asking was the measurement difference on the new garage footprint, the square footage that's being added.
Yes,
can
I can.
see how it's outlined, but
Yeah, I can get you. I
is it
can
on
pull
the
up.
is it on the other sheets that you've sent in?
Well, we have sent in garage details. It's on
Okay.
in the foundation plan and the architectural drawings.
Okay.
The garage itself is approximately 22 feet wide,
Mhm.
and it's let's see, it's proposed at 32 feet long. So, just without giving you a exact number, I'd say it's probably, 10 by 22, greater than what's there now.
Okay. And what is going to be underneath the deck that's off the second story?
Patio. The patio will extend to the back of the
So that'll all
of
be
the
pervious pavers or just ground? Open.
pervious pavers.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm just wondering if there's I don't have a real big deal, but I'm wondering if there's any way to stick in any mitigation there. And on that concrete pad that I'm glad Penny noticed, I don't know what it's being used for, but if it's not being used, can we get it out of there?
We can remove that as part of mitigation. We could
Yeah.
take that out and loam and seed it.
Okay, that would be nice. Unless there's a good use that someone says, but yeah, it would be nice where you're doing so much other things.
The kids are playing hopscotch on it.
I understand. Or it could have
I
been
don't know.
it could have been for a grill. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, could have.
I don't know, but I'd love to see it go where there you are
Mm-hmm.
enlarging a bit. It's again, I don't see any big deals here, just little stuff that really helps the overall outlook. Otherwise, I'm done, Jen. Thanks.
We'd be
Okay.
happy to remove that.
Good.
Now, is there anybody in the audience that has something to say about 36 10th? Now would be the time to use the raise your hand.
No hands.
No hands. All right. Um,
So we're gonna close in issue or,
Sure.
okay. Can I go, Jen?
go for it.
Okay. I make a motion to close an issue 36 10th Ave.
Take a
I'll
second.
second that.
Ooh, Eric getting in there. Brendan,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Penny,
Yes.
Jen, yes. All right.
Good deal.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Here, septic. Where's
Frank,
my
Uh,
Wait a minute,
septic?
I'm getting there.
You coming back, Mr. Frank?
I was trying to finish a bite of my apple. Thank you.
Have a bite of your apple. It's good for you.
Thank you, Jen.
Yep.
18 Marshfield Ave. Let's see. Um, where's my sheet? I got it. On June 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for the notice of intent filed by 18 Marshfield Irrevocable Trust for repair of a septic system located at 18 Marshfield. As Scituate, abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the website. And we have someone from, it looks like maybe James Garfield. Somebody
Jeff
from
Hassett is
Morse.
here.
Yep,
Oh,
Jeff
wow.
Bassett here with Morse.
Wow, they got out the big
Good
guns tonight. We haven't seen you in a while.
No, it's been a month or so, a couple months anyways.
Hey.
So this is an NOI for a septic repair at 18 Marshfield Ave in Hummerock. The property is about 5,000 square feet. It has a 4-bedroom home on the property, and the septic system, as far as we know, is original to the home. Being in Hummerock, it's a barrier beach and also land subject to coastal storm flowage, being an AE 13 FEMA zone. We're proposing to abandon the existing septic system and install a new Title V compliant system consisting of a 1,500-gallon septic tank, a distribution box, and a leaching field, which is 20 by 30, and it's a traditional crushed stone leaching field. Overall, there should be an improvement. There's no grading changes on the property. With that, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you. Jen?
Yes, I agree with the resources, no DEP comments. I didn't hear anything from Board of Health as to the status with them. And I guess my only other question was, is this also where people park on this property?
It is, yep. So we've designed it to be H20. So it's an H20 tank and an H20 field. So they can park on top of it.
And park.
All right. Those are all my questions.
Okay. Richard, you're the go-to person here.
Yeah, no, it's a big improvement. That shouldn't be a big deal. But just I can't picture if it's the first or second house beyond the voyage.
It's the next one immediately following.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a big improvement, much needed in the area. There are still a couple more to go getting getting the revised septic in. So yeah, I'm good. I don't really have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Penny?
Looking good.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's
Jen?
good.
Jen, Trolley?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. Brendan?
I'm all set, thank you.
Eric?
Yeah, no, I'm good. The only question is, in the call out here, not even the call up, it's the label. It says grass/sand. So just because it's a parking area, are you gonna try and reestablish grass, or is it gonna just sort of remain natural?
The intent is to just remain natural. It's not
Yep.
really defined. It's not a defined driveway, but an area where they park.
That's all I have. I'm good. Thanks, Jeff.
All
Okay.
right, welcome.
Do we have anybody in the audience for this one? What does that mean, public green?
I was seeing.
Yeah, it's similar to a right of way, but it's maybe 100 feet wide. It's shown on all the record plans as the public green,
Huh.
and it's how this property and maybe 4 or 5 others all access their parking areas. So
Okay.
it's if you're looking at the post office, immediately to the right there's a driveway, and it goes back to this public green.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's Humrock, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The best I can tell you.
If it works,
Well,
okay.
that
Just
can be debated too, but yes.
that was my only question.
Not very green.
No, it's not.
All right. Nope, that's it for me.
Okay. Can we
I think-
close an issue, Jen?
Yes.
Jeff, did you hear anything back from Board of Health? Are you comfortable?
I didn't reach out to them, but I can't imagine they would have any issues with it.
Well, it's at their risk, right, Frank? They have to come back to
Yeah,
us.
I mean, it seems so straightforward.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Sorry.
I make a motion to close an issue on 18 Marshfield Ave.
That's
I'll
Penny.
second that.
Second by Richard. All in favor, Jen,
Yep.
Brendan,
Yes.
and Eric.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
54 Woodland.
All right, that's myself again.
All right, and this is to amendment. So, on June 2nd, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town Scituate Code of Bylaws to amend the order, condition, and stormwater permit issued under DEP File 68-3140 as requested by Mike Goslin. To change the proposed footprint of a single-family dwelling to be located at 54 Woodland Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on the agenda.
All right, so as you noted, this is a request for an amended order of conditions. It's a single-family home project that was recently approved, and the only change is that the property was recently sold to Mike Goslin, and we updated the site plan for his new house footprint that he's looking to build. And on the
Oh, we lost you.
Jeff?
Where'd you go, Jeff?
I'm looking to see, but
He's over there, and his mic supposedly is on. Oh, it's mute.
A meteorite hit his house.
site plan, the old footprint, the outline is shown in orange, and then
Hey, Jeff?
oh, Jeff. Yeah.
We lost a whole big section of you have to almost start over. Can you hear me?
He's having issues.
We'll see if I can send him an email.
Poor Jeff's talking to himself. Oh.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I apologize. I don't know what happened. I just got logged out. All right, so this is an amended order of conditions request. It's a single family home project that was just approved and maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
The only change is that we're showing a new house footprint on the plan, and the old one is shown in orange. And the house is in the same location. As you can see, it's a little bit wider on either side. The roof area is 785 square feet larger. The driveway is 334 square feet smaller. So it ends up being a net increase of 451 square feet. So we updated the stormwater calculations accordingly. They were peer reviewed by Merrill, and Merrill wrote an email noting that the design can accommodate the additional impervious. And that's really the only change. It's the same limit of work, and everything else on the property remains the same.
Okay.
Hmm.
Jen?
I did speak to Deb, and yes, she agreed that the stormwater plan, can accommodate the changes. So I don't have any additional questions.
Okay. How about Eric?
Two questions just off the top. So nothing changed, you said. So I assume that means nothing impacted the wetland replication area because nothing was changed to the driveway at the crossing, correct?
That's correct.
And with the increase of
400.
impervious, was there any additional square footage added to the mitigation area by any chance?
No, because the mitigation area was based on the disturbance in the 50-foot buffer, and this didn't change the work in the 50-foot buffer at all.
Understood. All right, I think I'm good for the moment, Frank.
Okay. Brendan?
Yeah. Hi. So the change is not in the 50. Is it in the 100? I really can't tell.
Yeah, it is. You see the green line,
Uh,
the green dash line
okay.
that bisects the house?
Yes.
That's a
So
100-foot buffer. So
okay,
the house
so
is about half in the 100-foot buffer.
half of the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to go back to Eric's question, if why there more mitigation now. I mean, it's not just the 50 that counts, it's really the 100.
Everything counts.
Right.
So when we permitted this project, we have a 626 square foot wetland alteration, and then we're providing a wetland replication buffer at a 2-to-1 ratio, which is that area closer to the road. And then that area adjacent to the house, we're just calling a buffer mitigation planting area. And it was really just, we came up with 2,100 square feet. We came up with that number somewhat arbitrarily, just based on, that's the rain garden and the associated berm, and it's adjacent to the wetland. So it's a good spot to, provide buffers, a buffer planting area anyways. It wasn't a ratio or a calculation how we came up with that.
Okay. So the original, what was the square footage of footprint of the original house and the new one? What's the difference here?
So I don't have the existing and the proposed footprints, but what I do have is the change. And the new roof footprint is 785 square feet larger.
Okay.
And the driveway is smaller. And it ends up being a net increase of 450 square feet of impervious.
But we don't know what percentage that 785 is, or 84, you
Like
said.
within the 100 and without?
Well,
No, because that
just
wasn't the number we gave you on the original application either.
okay. It's just, the thing that's concerning to me is that we really just approved this. I think the orders were voted on maybe 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
If that,
And
yeah.
And now he's got a bigger house, and I really don't know how much bigger. I could look at it and guess, but so I got a bigger house, got more in the 100. It's a sensitive area. We have a crossing, and there's feels like there's more. We're giving more and not getting anything. So that's all I have to say. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Heard you.
Okay.
we're waiting for
After the
Frank.
first thing where you couldn't hear me, I'm not sure now. This whole meeting, I'll be asking. I'm sorry.
We are so entrenched in thinking about what you just had to say.
Oh my goodness.
But it was good.
It was very
Frank was daydreaming, Brendan. Don't let him fool you.
What did you
no,
say?
no. No, I'm
Oh,
trying to
yes.
figure out what the let
What I'm
Jeff go
trying to
ahead.
say.
No, Jeff, why don't you respond?
I mean, again, that buffer planting area was just an arbitrary size we came up with. It wasn't based on the footprint and the 100-foot buffer. I mean, the house is 785 square feet bigger. We know that. We updated all the calculations. I mean, the applicant they're ready to go on this. If the commission feels that more mitigation plantings are necessary, I would suggest maybe a condition that based on the increase in impervious, we would increase within the 100-foot buffer, we could increase the buffer planting area by that much. And we could submit that to Jen as a condition, if just a suggestion. I don't think it's that big of an increase, or it would be that big of a deal to the client I could extend the buffer planting area on, the southerly end, or even into the slope towards the house, either way.
Okay.
All right. Jen Foley.
Yeah, I don't love the growth. I don't know that I have anything substantial to add beyond what Brendan really crisply called out, but not as much of a fan.
Okay. Penny.
Yeah, we all know it's a very sensitive area. It wasn't built on a million years ago, and they tried to. And now we're letting them cross and they're getting it. No big deal, Jeff. Please ask the client, we would like some more mitigation because they have enlarged the house. And that was not what we originally approved. I don't think it should be an issue, but it would be a very nice gesture towards the
Okay, certainly.
commission and for the environment if they, put some more.
Well,
Okay.
just Penny, to remind you, they're requesting an amendment, so you have the
I
opportunity.
understand they are requesting an amendment, so
so
we
you-
can amend the plantings.
That's right. You have the ability to ask that question
Yes.
as well.
Okay, I'm all
Okay.
done.
Richard.
Yeah, I think Brendan's right on. I think Penny's right on. And my overall comment is, this is an amendment. This is sizable, and I don't think it should be overlooked. I absolutely agree there should be some more mitigation. This thing is so fresh; it just gets done, and I understand there's new buyers. I understand why it's happening. I'm not openly criticizing the intent here, except that it's significant. And so, yeah, I think we ought to have some additional mitigation if this is going to work. And I think it ought to be spelled out in the
Amendment.
in the amendment. Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anybody? I got all the commission members, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do we have anybody in the audience?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay. So Jeff, your proposal, so you obviously you'd like to move this along. You've got it
Right.
approved. Um, So what you're proposing basically is to increase the um the mitigation area by 500 square feet or something? Is it, I don't know how
Yeah,
much,
I propose by a number equal to the additional impervious in the 100-foot buffer.
which was how much?
The
You said there was a increase in the house, but a reduction in the driveway and the paving.
yeah, the total increase is 451 square feet of additional impervious. I mean, I suppose we could just simplify that and just say provide another 451 square feet of impervious of mitigation. Not worry about how much of that is less. The number within the 100-foot buffer would be less.
Okay. We have a hand up.
All
Mo.
right, I can unmute Mo.
Oh,
You are unmuted.
And you want to just state your name and address, please?
You there, Mo?
no.
Where's Mo?
Um,
Feeding the cat.
so I mean, do we need to pick a specific spot or what's your
I would
thoughts?
suggest,
Go
yeah, I would
ahead.
suggest a combination of up into the slope between the buffer area and the driveway, and
Yeah.
also extending it down. I don't know if that's south. Yeah, it is south on the page towards the swale and the septic area.
Okay.
That would be nice.
Brendan, or any other commission members want to comment?
I think
I
it'd be,
think,
I'm sorry. Go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead, Rich.
No, Eric, you go. You're the expert.
Well, I was going to just say that, I think that's a decent compromise. Adding mitigation area to the slope, if nothing else, to simplify some of the additional square footage, but then also to provide something other than turf grass as a slope stabilization tool as well that could actually benefit the slope there in the long run.
Yeah.
And my only other thought just would be, there's some really nice trees that are being proposed on the buffer mitigation plant legend, the black oak and the red maple, 6 and 5 respectively. So maybe it's just we add another couple trees on that southern flare with some more, understory in conjunction with like herbaceous material along that slope, just to simplify things, and then everyone's happy.
Great idea.
Okay, who and was that
That was Eric.
no, who was it? Brad Holmes that put together that plan,
Yeah.
Jeff?
You did, yeah.
So we can relay that information to him. So do we feel like we can take that information from Eric and Jeff, Jen Smith, and incorporate that into an order on that amendment?
Yes, I
Okay.
think we can. I think we can get that figured out.
Okay. So I think if everybody's
Good now.
copacetic,
Yeah.
I'll take a motion.
I guess I'm making motion to approve the amendment with the stipulations that Jen's gonna write up.
I think that's probably the appropriate
Okay.
motion. That's Penny. Or a
Yep.
second
I'll second.
from Eric. All in favor? Richard,
Yep.
Jen,
Yep.
Brendan.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thanks,
All
Jeff.
right. Thanks, everyone.
47
47 Rebecca Road.
Oh, boy. Well, Okay.
Are we opening this one?
Yes, we need to open this.
Okay. On June 2nd, 6 p.m., the Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Situate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by Mark Hornbrook for the demolition and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling located at 47 Rebecca Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information and access to the meetings available on the agenda posted on the website.
Mm.
So we have Atlantic Engineering.
Yes, hold on. I need to unmute Jed. Jed Hannon is with us.
Good evening, Jed Hannon with Atlantic Coast Engineering. Can everybody hear me okay?
We
Yep.
got you.
Okay, great. So this is 47 Rebecca Road, a fairly old and dilapidated home that is inside the FEMA flood zone. The finished floor elevation is below the FEMA flood zone. It's land subject to coastal storm flowage, coastal dune. It's in the VE 16 and the AE 15. Most of the house is in the AE 15, but because the line goes through the house, the more stringent code required. So it's the VE 16. What's proposed here, Rivermore Engineering did the structurals on this, and we're proposing concrete piers on helical piles. There will be open concrete piers for obvious free flow. What the architect has designed is FEMA compliant breakaway panels. We've also proposed pervious concrete driveway and pervious pavers for that same driveway area. And then in the rear, we're proposing pervious paver patio. At the bottom left corner of the site plan, we have a square footage tabulation for pervious, impervious of what's there existing and what's proposed. What we have proposed is a betterment, significant improvement in terms of providing a more pervious and porous site in order to recharge stormwater and when wave action makes its way over the seawall. So we're doing our best on a challenging site to handle both stormwater and wave action. We have for the leaders and downspouts, as shown on the plan, we're proposing to capture that and discharge below grade into a stone trench. That detail is shown on the plans as well. All of the utilities are proposed to be lifted up out of the flood zone. I'd be happy to share the architectural drawings if anyone wants to see them. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Right. Jen Smith.
Sure. We did receive the architectural plans. Those should have been emailed out, so hopefully you have those. It's good that they're elevating it, getting the foundation out of the ground in this area. However, it is an opportunity to bring the site into being a more functional dune area. So, yes, pervious surfaces are good, but we really want to see more. We don't necessarily want to see hard surfaces in these areas that get hit so hard with storms. So I do have some concerns about the proposed surfaces under the house and for the driveway. There weren't any comments from DEP, but like I said, I do agree with it. It's dune, it's land subject to coastal storm flowage, it's part of the site's in a velocity zone, and those are those are some of my comments to start with.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Jen Foley. What are you thinking?
Um, there's a lot happening here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure who that was that agreed with me, but
These are
um,
Richard.
Mm-hmm.
it was Richard. Thank you, Richard. Um, is the so is the driveway, did you say what the driveway is?
Yes, the driveway, if you can scroll down on the plan, there's actually a detail just below the proposed layout. Um,
Proposed
right
site.
below, yeah, it says pervious concrete driveway. So it's a it's a 6 inch pervious concrete material, and then there's pavers with 3/8 wash stone in between to give it some rigidity, but also make it as porous as we can.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Pervious concrete, but then also pavers? What does
Yes.
that mean?
Yeah, so that's the detail that
So,
was right below where the text where it says proposed site plan. So it's both uh, pervious concrete and then pervious pavers on top, so that it has a base material that's solid and in theory, there won't be any settlement.
The concrete, I think, is broken up, Jen. Yes, no,
okay. Yeah, I guess I'm just like used to
yeah.
concrete or asphalt being impervious, so I think that's what's throwing me.
Should throw you.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it is unique, pervious concrete, but it will have saw cut joints, expansion joints, and but it is pervious.
Okay. I guess I do, I'll move you, Frank, you can move on for
Okay.
now while I
No, there's a
try.
lot going on in this spot, so
Yeah.
we'll circle around.
Yeah.
Um,
Major.
Penny?
Yeah, this is major compared to what's there. It's a lovely little cottage set way back with a lot of grass in front, and now it's all gonna be gone. Um, oh, could we go back to the plan? Yeah, I can't read this, so I'm having a hard time, and I don't have my hard copy. But oh, okay, thank you. That's better. Um, what I'm trying to see, proposed timber deck. Is there gonna be spacing on that timber deck
Yes,
for the water to, come
flow
up
through.
over
Yes,
and go through? Okay.
yes.
Patio, that's a very big patio you're putting out front there. Um, I'm not crazy about that right there because of the ocean's right there, baby. It's right there. There's no beach out there. Oh, okay. I don't quite understand why, if the house is going on piles, why we have to have concrete slab underneath the house. That's confusing to me.
Sure. So this is what we discussed this with the owner and the architect. We are proposing pervious concrete underneath the house. If the commission's, more desire is more to, use stone or some other porous material, I'm sure we could speak to the owners. In fact, the owner should be on. In fact, he's raising his hand, Mark's iPad.
Wait a minute. Let me just ask, why does anything have to be under the house? It's going up on pilings. Why can't it just be the grass that's there or sand? I mean, I don't understand why anything has to go under the house.
Just so you
Um,
understand the process, so the folks that have their hand up,
Yeah.
we'll go through all the commission members. When we're done with the commission members, we'll ask for additional input, and then we'll take that at that time. So it'll be commission members, and then we'll acknowledge the other um, folks that want to speak.
All right. I just don't see the necessity of that unless somebody can tell me that it's environmentally sound, that there's a real reason for it. I don't get it.
Okay.
Moving
Um,
on, Frank.
yep. Uh, Brendan?
Yeah. So I guess let's start off with well, first the patio. Um, how is the proposed patio larger than the existing patio, and if so, by how much?
There isn't a patio.
Let me just pull up the site plan table. I have that info right here. Just bear with me.
Yeah, well,
So the existing patio in the rear, if you look at the left-hand side of the drawing, that's an existing impervious paver patio, and it covers almost the entire backyard area, right up to the seawall. What we're proposing is a slight decrease in that square footage of the patio, but this is proposed as pervious. And then on the left-hand side, there is all along the left-hand side, it's proposed grass and lawn area. So
There.
in terms of square footage, it's a net decrease.
Okay. Um, there's an existing concrete deck, and that's being taken away.
Completely.
Okay. And the new deck has no cover.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Um, I'm not wild about the concrete underneath. I know we're talking about pervious, and also for the driveway, there's pervious concrete. What's the flow rate of this? Is there a particular product you're using? And what are we talking about for like the water flow rate through it?
The
I don't,
permeability, Jed,
Yeah.
between say
Yep.
gravel and impervious concrete.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have like a perk rate or a flow rate right offhand,
Okay.
but that's something I could certainly look into.
I think
Like,
that's
is
a pretty
this,
critical.
That is critical.
yeah, is this, what's being proposed? Is it a particular product, or is this something that we're kind of using concrete with other stuff and making like our own, I guess. I really don't know how. I know that there's places that make pervious concrete. There's testing of it. I've seen back a little while ago things about that. But like, is that what you're using, or are you using some other blend?
So it's a pervious concrete. I could certainly get a cut sheet and, see what the flow rate is on it. And then in terms of the pervious pavers, they're 6 inches in length and 3 inches in width. And then they have 3/8 wash stone in between.
Okay, so is the pervious part just the in between?
yeah.
It's in between, and then there's square cells in the pervious pavers that
Okay.
are pervious also.
Okay, and then the last thing I guess I had noticed here is you have along the driveway a granite curb. How high is that?
The granite curb is typically 6 inches.
Uh-huh. Um, that's not pervious. I guess I don't know.
The granite curb is not pervious, correct?
Yeah, I'm not. It's like a little baby wall. I'm not so much of a fan of that. But that's all the questions I had. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan.
Hmm.
Um, where have I been? Eric?
Um, Good evening, Jed. Um,
Good evening.
while I appreciate the consideration for permeability with the paving on the entire property, my concern, given that we're in a velocity zone, is especially pertaining to water flow and dispersing energy that's coming across during a storm event. And a hard surface, even though it's pervious, is still going to be potentially accelerating the flow of that stormwater. And that sort of ties into the second concern I have. While I'm not arguing you know, the FEMA compliance with the breakaway panels, it does concern me that we're sort of having two issues here, potentially not dispersing energy of floodwaters coming across the patio, but then it intersecting and interacting with breakaway panels. And the commission in the past has really struggled with applications that have been presenting some sort of lattice work underneath a structure such as this. We want to reduce the amount of potential projectiles during a storm-related event. And given that the building is in the velocity zone, that is a concern of mine, and just potential storm damage that could be caused as a result. So those are two things. I also think that as I'm looking at this plan, I'm noticing that there's shrubs indicated to the right of the patio on near the seawall. Aerial imagery, I don't notice that at all existing. Is that something that's going to be added? Was that a sort of a mistake on the existing plan and intended to be presented as some sort of mitigation measure for the proposed? Or I guess I'm just a little confused about that. So those three items are sort of concern of mine at the moment.
Sure. So if
Okay.
I could just
Go
reply
ahead.
to some of those. So the vegetation that you see on the right, that was identified in the existing condition survey. Being in a velocity zone, and I don't know when the aerial imagery was dated, but that's obviously
10th
an
of
active
April.
area. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was identified on the existing condition survey as being there when the survey was done. So I guess I'd just leave it at that. If some of it's been, wiped out or otherwise, I'm not sure, but it was there on the existing condition survey.
Yeah, from the image
With-
that I'm looking at, it has the patio going up to what looks like revetment rock, and there doesn't seem to be any planting area. So I guess that's just why I was confused.
Okay. With respect to the breakaway panels, these are FEMA compliant breakaway panels that are proposed.
Yep, I'm not
the-
arguing that. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that if you look at the top of wall in the rear, that's elevation 16, which is basically right at the FEMA flood elevation. So, although the area could flood, I think, the majority of the events are mitigated by the seawall. So that's why the breakaway panels were designed as is. We could certainly keep them elevated a foot off the ground for, stormwater concerns and wave action events if that's the concern.
Yeah, I mean, my concern is definitely the fact that this is an oceanside, property, and that this area does get hit significantly hard during storm events. So even with the top of wall being 16 feet, we do have significant wave action crashing over that wall that is going to be accelerated on any hard surface, whether it's pervious or impervious. And just, looking out for mitigating storm damage and, the interest of the Wetlands Protection Act in general, we're looking at not just this property, but adjacent properties, and the impact that this project might, have on others in the neighborhood as well.
Yeah, sure. Understood. Thank you.
I thank Judd.
Okay. Where have I been so far? Richard.
In addition to everything that's been said, and I would echo most of the concerns, I would echo Penny from the beginning. I don't understand why there's anything solid under the house. I don't live up there, but I do live in a similar area. And usually, especially where you do have a seawall there, you would hope that anything that comes over would not be going to knock everything over. And the best absorption weight is going to be with sand under the house. And I know I see that all the time where I am. So I'm with Penny on that. I don't understand why you would want anything but sand or something that's just as porous under the house. So, and that way it would slow down anything that comes in that's going through to the front of the house or to the street. So that would be my big comment to, and then echo everything else that's been said.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for the comments, Richard. So I guess I get my concern with having sand or something very light. And again, I appreciate the comments. My concern would be sediment transport. The sand would get dispersed and during a major event, it would end up in other people's yards. So the idea of having something a little more rigid was what the owner wanted. But we can certainly have them comment on that. And I know the architect has his hand raised. So at some point, if he could provide some supplementary comments as well, that would be great.
Jed, I understand what you're saying completely. The reason that I say what I do is because you do have a seawall there. So most of the time, it's not going to be major stuff that's going to be coming through there. It would be more minor, an inch or two, and a flow of an hour or so. If you didn't have a seawall there, that would be, I think, a different story. But where you do, that's why I say that. So it would slow down the flow rather than speed it up. Happy to hear any answers to that, though, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Did I cover everybody?
I think you did, Frank.
Yep.
All right. Why don't we open this up to audience?
Okay, I can unmute Roger's iPad. I just Frank, I do want to add that I understand it's FEMA and flood, but it is also a dune area, so sediment moving is part of what we want to have happen there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so Roger, I'm unmuting you. And I'll try Mark also.
And you just, whoever comes on, just want to get your name and address for the record.
Video too.
So Roger, Roger's iPad is unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, so we're also trying to get the camera on.
I don't think the camera is going to work.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
So you just want to give us your name and address, please?
It's Roger Hoyt, 1175 Main Street in Hingham.
Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks.
So our entire sort of design prospect here was to try to make this this house and the elevation 16 and the patio behind the house. It's been mentioned that there is a solid concrete patio now existing on the site, and that is to be completely removed, because what's happening right now is with any flowage coming over that wall that is being basically pushed to the right and the left of the actual structure and down the sides of each side of the house. I don't know if Jed, can you show the section drawing that we sent, which is A12, or Jen? Is that something that you can show?
We can screenshot from here what we have. Okay, yep. Looks like we've got it.
Okay,
I don't know which page you want from this.
12, A12. There you go. So the idea here is to allow this entire underside of this house, when the event happens, to absorb as it goes. So the patio itself would absorb, and then it gets to the back wall of the house, which is a wall. It's a breakaway, and then it absorbs in that this concrete that we're talking about using is it's a lightweight concrete and with sort of a cinder base, so that it allows water to go through the concrete. And then the same is true as the two doors, both sides and the front, are breakaway walls, so that water can flow right through the underside of this. There's nothing on that basement area that's it's basically attached to the floor surface, and the both garage doors there have two flood vents each in the doors itself, but there will be a slowdown, which I think has been talked about tonight, because this entire surface underneath the building is absorbent, as is the driveway, and of course the grass surfaces on both sides, and the patio. There's an existing patio there now that's going to be taken up, and then properly reinforced underneath with stone. So, and the spacing between the patio stones would be such that it would absorb water into that, as well as through the stone subbase. And then as it gets in under the house itself, it can be absorbed and slowed down through the absorption of the concrete, and then out the front and down the sides of the property, so that it is truly a flow through. In that event, there's a slight pitch from elevation 13 on the back side of the house to the street, which is elevation 9 and 10, and the whole site pitches from the ocean side back towards the Rebecca Road, so that as it goes right across the plane of that basement, then it allows water to be absorbed as it goes. Sidewalls, both sidewalls at the front wall, and besides the two doors which have the flood vents in them, all of those walls are the FEMA flood walls that are detachable.
Okay, thank you. Do we want to hear from Mark's iPad?
Yeah, let me see.
I think I'm off mute. Can everyone hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, so Mark Warnbrook, I'm here with my wife Kendra, 47 Rebecca Road, Scituate. Thanks for taking the time to hear our plan tonight. I would, I guess, reinforce the points that Roger's made, maybe with the exception of a couple things. One is I think we're very comfortable without this new concrete structure. Going with a more traditional stone and pervious paver, we think makes good sense in terms of absorbing water. If that's something that the commission is more comfortable with, we certainly are as well. We understand the volume of water that can come over the wall in these storms. The back patio that we do have in place today is actually pervious. There is 3 feet of stone in a lot of cases underneath that patio, and in a significant storm event, the patio does catch a ton of water. It does slow the movement of that water, at least today, and I know part of that is due to the concrete that's been here for quite some time. I do think with a patio that I kind of look at, maybe naively, I've only been here a couple of years, but have been through a number of storms. It works, in my view, much like a catch basin would. We did talk about getting FEMA louvers, if permitted, in the wall that would retain that back patio, so even more water would flow through the rock and then down into the floor underneath the house.
garage.
Yep, the garage. That, if it's constructed the same way, in my view, kind of becomes catch basin two, right? It absorbs more water with the right amount of rock and paver structure in place. I think it would continue to slow that water as well. And then, it hits catch basin three, if you will, for the driveway. It feels like, just based on what we've seen with a couple of bad storms that caused a ton of erosion in grass space, to be something that would at least accommodate the erosion concerns. So that's what we were trying to get to. We were honestly working to try to get something that we thought was a significant concern from our first time through with the commission around speed of water and erosion. So for whatever that's worth, I thought I would offer those points.
Thank you. We have anybody else?
Frank, can I add a couple comments?
Sure.
Well, we do have another hand raised, so I think I see it somewhere. Linda Martin. Okay, Linda Martin, I'm unmuting you.
Are you muted again?
Linda, you are unmuted. Not. Well, maybe while she's figuring that out, Frank, can I add a couple
sure.
comments?
Go ahead, please.
They do know that they need to file with zoning. So that's just another piece to keep in mind. We typically condition no lattice underneath. We don't want an enclosed area underneath, partly because it can become storm damage and get broken away, and things shouldn't be stored under the house other than maybe parking a car. And
But when a storm comes, get out.
yeah, I mean, right. So the area is, does get hit with storms. So we're trying to have a site that's more compliant so we can be doing better as far as storm damage prevention is concerned. I think they wanted to get some comments from the commission before filing with zoning to just, see what kind of adjustments needed to be made.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm
Do we
not
have
sure what
another?
happened to our hands raised person, Linda. Yeah, they're unmuted, but the sound doesn't seem to be working.
Okay. All right. Do we have anybody else? So, Jen, I'm just looking at this plan, Jed and Jen. So in the filing, I think under general notes is number 11, and the resource area should be labeled as an LS CSF and a dune.
Correct.
So that would need to be corrected, I'm assuming. And then I think that you've heard the concern about the pervious concrete or whatever, and that there's been a lot of back and forth on that. It's used in some places where it really needs to be used, but it also requires an awful lot of maintenance. Once the set becomes clogged with silt, it isn't very effective. Also, overall coverage on this lot. I'm not sure. Just trying to look at this lot coverage, Jed. So the house area is a little over double.
Yep.
There's a concrete patio that's being removed. but it's being replaced with a much larger permeable paver patio, considerably larger.
Yes.
And I think, part of the questions is the permeability of that um, paver patio versus just natural soil. Maybe it's maybe it's the same. You're removing a impervious area altogether. You're increasing it, but with a pervious area. So maybe there's not much difference there. I'm not sure we can see that from the calculations we have. I think that again, that would be good to know the permeability of that patio, so we could have some idea of that if that sort of works out. Um, the existing driveway is made of what?
Asphalt.
So it's an asphalt driveway, and that would be removed and replaced with um, more pavers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think one of the comments made about the curbing, it's good to delineate that, but I think if it's not flush um with the driveway, then it sort of creates a it diverts the water to the sides. I mean, maybe not in a larger storm because it's all going to be going over it anyways, but um any thoughts as to what you're going to do with plantings or anything in the areas that are remaining natural?
So as it's shown on the proposed site plan, there's existing lawn on the left side, and then there's proposed grass in the back left corner. Um, and then the existing lawn on both the right side and left side of the driveway would stay as such, would stay as lawn.
Okay. And then either between you or Roger, so is the intent here to drive underneath this house and use it for parking, correct? And am I to understand that we had a little cross section of the house, but that this you had planned on having full walls all the way around, wouldn't breakaway walls between the piers?
Yes, so there's actually a pretty good on the cover sheet of the architecturals, Jen, if you wouldn't mind scrolling to that, it's the first page. So that would be the front elevation view there, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
The garage on the left, you can't quite see the garage door on the right because the
Yeah,
stairs
no,
are
I got it.
Yep. And those would be the breakaway panels.
And are those panels open slat or are they all solid?
They're detachable FEMA compliant flood panels. So when a certain force hits them, they become detached.
But they're solid.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can fly. If they become detached, they fly.
Okay. And that grade change is pretty consistent with what you have there. It looks like the patio um towards the ocean is higher than the driveway. So
That's right.
gotcha.
Frank, I
go
have
ahead.
a
Yes, Jen.
procedural question.
Yeah.
How do we rectify that, like the existing driveway, I believe, is currently under an enforcement order and the patio is bigger. So when we're making some of these, this is X% bigger, it's like, well, it's X% unpermitted bigger. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I guess I hadn't followed that. So you're saying that this driveway was installed without any permitting?
I believe so. Jen, is that correct?
The asphalt driveway, correct. And
Yeah.
once
And the
something was sent, I heard back promptly, and they were talking about elevating their home. So this seemed like a good place to kind of work through all that.
So do we know what was there before that was an asphalt driveway?
Nothing.
Grass.
Grass all the way, Frank, from the street.
So really using that, calculating that driveway as a removal is your point, Jen?
Yeah, I mean the patio is a lot bigger than what was originally agreed upon in 2022 or so. And so like we're just it feels like all of our calculations are not based on fact or not
Well,
based
that
on
they might be
what was
factual, but really what we should be comparing this site to is the addition of the paved driveway
yeah. Yeah,
or that
fact is not
pet
the
or
right
the pet.
word, but
Right.
yeah.
But in
Yeah, I
both
mean,
these
and
ca go ahead.
sorry, Frank. It's just, yeah, I'm just looking at the aerial from 2022. There is no driveway and there is no patio to the rear of the house.
No, no.
So I think we're already into 7:30 on a fairly lengthy project here. Jedi and Roger, Mark, I think you got the gist of what's going on here. I think we should continue this with and I do think that the calculations comparing new to old should be pre
Yeah.
what is existing now. I think that's a real fair assumption.
What the original was.
Right.
Sure, that's not a problem. The existing driveway that's paved is shown right in the table. We could take that out and
And I think you should also look at what is with the patio.
Because that was grass out back.
yeah, that was grass out back, but there was an RDA permit for a patio.
But
that was
not this. But
approved.
I think the patio that got built was not what was permitted.
It was larger, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think you guys got enough of the gist of this. How much time do we need to get back to this?
Can we make Richard a co-host? I think he had to log back in.
Sure.
And okay, and the next available agenda is the June 30th, but I'll let Jed answer if that's you know an
Between
okay
Jed
time
and
frame.
Roger, I don't know whether
Yeah, I
we
think
need.
we should be able to make have a discussion with the owner and the architect and make some of these updates that have been mentioned within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? Be the Friday before the hearing or a week before
Oh
for
yeah, oh
new
yes, a week
information.
before the hearing. Yep.
Yes, that's not a problem.
Okay. Take a motion.
I make a motion to continue 47 Rebecca Road to June 30th.
That's a motion from Penny. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor, Richard,
Yes.
Jen Foley,
Yep.
Brendan,
Yes.
and that's it. And Frank, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you. 25-6 there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen. Can we go on to the next one?
Yep.
On June 2nd, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws. Notice of intent filed by Jennifer Sorwick for construction of an addition, deck, and demolition and reconstruction of a garage located at 25 6th Ave. Scituate abutters to other interested parties are invited to attend. And we have somebody from Grady.
Yes, I'm
Yep.
unmuting Dylan Brady.
There he is.
All right, let's try again. Dylan.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Right. For the record, Dylan Brady with Grady Consulting, here to represent the applicant and owner, Jennifer Sarowitz, at 25 6th Avenue. At 25 6th Avenue, there's an existing single-family dwelling that's shown with the hatch in the southern part of the property. There's also an existing detached garage a little bit more to the north. The existing only Concom jurisdictional area is land subject to coastal storm flowage, shown as FEMA flood zone elevation 15, which most of the site is within. The applicant and owner is proposing an addition that's 667 square feet with a proposed deck that's about 948 square feet. They will need to remove the existing deck to install these. The proposed addition, the finished floor will be match the existing finished floor, which is over 2 feet above base flood elevation. But it will also have 4 proposed insulated smart vents that are, FEMA approved. The proposed deck, there was a question about the footings, and I did get the architect's confirmation that there will be 23 sonotube footings for this deck that wraps around the addition. Again, the finished floor of the deck will be above the base flood elevation. The existing garage slab is below the base flood elevation with no FEMA flood compliance. So it will be raised and rebuilt in the same exact area, but we are proposing 3 insulated smart vent models. So we do believe that the overall additions are an improvement as we're adding flood compliant addition, but then also making a non-flood compliant garage flood compliant. And with that, I'll turn over to the commission with any questions you have about the project overall.
Okay, thank you. Jen Smith?
Yes, land subject to coastal storm flowage. I think there was the plan maybe added a limit of work, or that was a question. It'd be good to have some details for the footings if those can be sent over. Now we know how many. And I did want to make sure there was some space between the decks. You mentioned that it would be just continue to be grass underneath the deck. I wanted to confirm that. And I guess we would at some point would want the structurals for these footings as well.
Okay, thank you. How about Brendan?
I'm not ready on this one.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right. You have plenty of others to call on. Eric?
So I guess my question just to start is with the garage. So that's going to be raised and rebuilt, same footprint and location. The only difference is going to be that the flood compliance is the new garage will have the, the storm vents.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
So the slab itself, will that be removed, or are you just going to build on top of the existing slab?
They are anticipating on removing it. The architect didn't have a full inspection of it when they were going through, so they're anticipating removing it. If it can be used, they are going to, but at this time they are anticipating on removing it and putting a new slab in.
Sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, just looking at any excavation that might be required on the site, if there's going to need to be any staging areas, and with that, any silt socks for the limit of work. I apologize if I'm missing the notation on the plan.
No, it looks like the limit of work isn't shown on this plan, but we are anticipating following the fence for most of it. If you can see the existing fence, it's shown by an X hatch with a line that encompasses most of the property. So we're anticipating just wrapping around most of this. This will be done in 2 separate phases. So the first one is the addition of the deck with the garage following after that. So there likely will be 2 separate limit of works with 2 separate silt socks for each phase.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So that's why we didn't show just one on the plan.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the deck that's existing is going to be part of the proposed addition, I would guess. Like the footprint that already exists with the deck that's currently at the site.
I do believe the existing deck is coming down, and even where it's being replaced in the same area, it's going to be a new deck.
Okay. And that new deck, just the slats, water will be able to pass through. Yeah. And it will be uncovered.
Yeah, it will be an open deck, and I will ensure that the slats will allow water to pass through.
That's all I have for now, Frank. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see. How about Penny?
He just caught me a little off guard. Um, the slats on what? The deck?
The
Why
deck.
would the deck have slats?
The decking.
Oh, between the boards is what
Yeah.
he's saying?
Yeah.
All right. No, I'm all set, Frank. Thank you.
Okay, Richard?
Yeah. How high is the garage going to be raised?
Oh, I'm sorry. Raised is in it's
Torn down.
torn
Torn
down.
down.
Yes, not
Okay.
raised is in the elevation.
Okay. And so it's going to be at the same level. I should have gotten the two words straightened out in my mind, and it's late. So it's just going to be flood compliant now.
Correct, by installing the smart fence.
Okay. Thank you. That's the only question I have for now.
Okay. Jen Foley?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Anybody else?
Oh, wow.
We have anybody in the audience?
At the moment, I don't see any hands raised.
So, I mean, aside from adding maybe a couple of erosion control things like a phase 1, phase 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Erosion
we would be happy to add a phase 1 and phase 2 of erosion control. Just conditioned on the approval, just an updated plan showing that.
Yep.
We'd love to do that.
And what did you ask for, Jen? Some information on the footings foundation, right?
Yes. Usually we at least see some sort of detail.
Yes, I can absolutely forward over to what the architect has sent me for
Okay.
the photos.
Is the applicant planning to do anything to the driveway? Or are they just going to work with what's existing?
No, they're completely not touching the driveway, just working with what's existing.
Okay. That's it for me.
Hey.
Do we want to, can we close with adding those couple of conditions, Jen?
Yes, we can do
Okay.
that.
All right.
So I make a motion to close
An issue with
An
the
issue.
conditions mentioned.
with the conditions mentioned for 25 6th Ave.
That's Penny. You have a second? Nobody
Second
wants
from
a
Jen.
second?
Jen did it.
Second by Jen. All in favor. Richard?
Yep.
Brendan?
Yes.
And Eric?
Yes.
Frank, yes. Great. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Have a
night.
good night. So now we got to open and continue a couple of these. So on June 2nd at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws to amend the order of conditions and stormwater permit under file 68-3002 requested by Kellyanne Wilson to add landscaping and landscaping features to a single-family dwelling at 113 River Street, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information access is available on the agenda. And the applicant's asking to continue to June 30th, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can I get a motion to continue?
I make a motion to continue. I don't know which one we're on, Frank.
113 River Street.
113
F,
River
113
Street,
River.
the amendment. Continue that. When we're going to continue it to, Jen? Oh,
June
the
30th.
30th, 6:30.
I'll second it.
Which is all in favor? Jen,
Yep.
Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Frank, yes. Okay, 50 Eli Ave.
Okay, I make
Well, yeah, that
an
needs to be
open?
opened.
No, okay.
God almighty, Penny. You're so
Oh, I'm
okay.
just in,
I know you want to get out of here, but
oh, I'm
let's just,
cold. I'm cold.
oh, sorry.
For me.
Um, June 2nd, 2025, 6 p.m. Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 4 of the Massachusetts General Laws, Section 30700, Town of Situate Code of Bylaws, for a notice of intent filed by Jeffrey Lennox for the demolition and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling located at 50 Eli Ave, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on the agenda posted on the website.
Okay. Now, I make a motion to continue 50 Eli until June 30th.
That's Penny. Do we have a second?
I'll second
Second
that.
from Jen.
I think Brendan got you there, Jen.
He did. He did.
Um, all in favor? Richard,
Okay.
Jen,
Yep.
don't take it personal. And then Eric,
Yes.
Frank, yes. Okay.
All right.
40 Crescent Ave.
Oh boy. Here we go.
And this is
Dan Gray from Gray Consulting, here on behalf of Jesse Kropelnecki.
Frank, Jeff DeLisi.
Hey Jeff.
And I think we need to open it.
I think you need to read that, right?
Did
Yes.
we open this
Didn't we open
before?
this? No, I
Then
guess we
did
didn't.
I visit?
My apologies. Okay. On June 2nd, 2025, Situate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Situate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent and stormwater permit filed by Jesse Kropelnecki, something like that, I apologize, for the construction of a new detached garage and remodel a single-family home located at 40 Crescent Ave, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meetings available on the agenda posted on the website.
Okay, great. Thank you. So Jeff DeLisi, Orenberger, DeLisi, and Harris, Jesse Kropelnecki, who is the applicant, should be also on, as well as Darren Grady and perhaps Brian Greenberg from Grit and Grace, our contractor. So to give you a summary, you just read it. It's not a remodel. This is a raise and rebuild of an existing single-family dwelling.
Hey, just before you go, why did
Yep.
we have remodel?
Not sure.
Jen or Josh?
That's what I inputted.
I think might have been how we considered reconstruction of the house. I'm not looking at the notice of intent at the moment, but
Okay.
they'll get into that they're keeping the same footprint of the house. So that's probably how we got there.
Okay. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
that was my guess is and you just stole the words from my mouth, Jen. We're gonna reconstruct the dwelling primarily in its existing footprint. The entire property is entirely disturbed. The resource areas here are land subject to coastal storm flowage and coastal bank. As the commission is aware, technically there are two coastal banks, one at the seawall revetment and the other along the contour elevation 21 feet. The property was actually previously delineated last year in connection with the project to the northeast at 44 Crescent. That project required the removal of the impervious area behind the existing house, which was driveway. And it also eliminated the access to the rear of the house by vehicle, such that we are not proposing a garage in the rear of the proposed dwelling. The commission is familiar with the neighborhood, having previously approved the project below or seaward of the 21 elevation coastal bank at 56 Peggy Beach Road, and also having approved the project at 52 Peggy Beach Road. So there's a lot of activity in this area recently. Due to the loss of the garage, the applicant is proposing a pervious gravel driveway in the front of the home along kind of where Peggy Beach Road and Crescent Avenue intersect in that general area. And there will be a detached accessory structure that will be a garage on the property. The current home has an accessory dwelling unit in the basement, and the proposed home will also have an accessory dwelling unit in the proposed basement. I did not want the commission to get confused. The proposed garage is not being used as an ADU. The property does slope towards the southerly abutter, and we are proposing a retaining wall to stabilize the slope on the southerly side yard. The commission previously approved a buffer planting plan along the 21-foot contour coastal bank in the rear of the house, and we believe that there is some value to removing existing invasive plantings seaward of that bank and replacing that area with a significant amount of native plantings as a buffer enhancement, or not even a buffer enhancement, to enhance the actual bank itself, which is about 900 square feet in area. We're also proposing to replace the few trees that will be removed. And before turning it over to Darren, I just wanted to remind the commission that the elevation 21-foot coastal bank has a house in between it and the ocean, which certainly impacts its ability to take on velocity. So we filed a stormwater permit. I believe I did not hear you read that as part of the notice. But Darren can address stormwater issues, and I know the commission hired Deb Keller of Merrill Engineering to review the project, and we've provided full and complete responses as recently as up to a few hours before this meeting. You have, I believe, a revised plan. So I can turn it over to Darren, or if the commission wants to ask me any questions, I'm more than happy in the interim to answer anything you'd like.
Jen, do we want to we'll continue and let Darren make his presentation? And then do we have Deb on for this?
No, we don't have Deb onto this, but I do have comments from her, which have all been addressed, but no, we don't have Deb here.
Okay. So Darren, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. The increase in impervious is 305 square feet. We're proposing a stormwater chamber system below the driveway. The roof runoff from the proposed garage will be going in there. The driveway is going to be pervious crushed stone, so it would mitigate stormwater. There was a couple of minor changes that we've agreed to over this afternoon. One is to eliminate the foundation drain that is shown with the proposed garage. The other was to add a second erosion control barrier along the property line south of the mitigation area. So that would protect the southerly abutter from any sediment leaving the site. And we also agreed to add sweeping to the operation and maintenance plan for the permeable pavers. And I think Jeff did a good job explaining all the site improvements besides just the stormwater. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Jen Smith, you want to comment on that?
Well, I don't have any questions, but I do just want to agree that we have the information we need for the crushed stone driveway as far as the details for that, the maintenance for pervious pavers, and the amount of mitigation proposed on the site. And as well as any management of invasives that are removed, that they're, properly removed. So I don't have questions, and Deb did review calculations for the site and had a couple concerns which have been addressed. So no comments from DEP on this project.
Okay. We did have a site visit out there, and a few of us were there. Let's start with Brendan. You were there. So.
Oh, he's muted. There you are.
I can't figure out this technology. I'm sorry.
I've never tried.
Yeah, I was there. I I don't think I have any questions right now, which is surprising.
Okay. Richard, you were out there.
I was, and it's a good thing because of that, I am the slight adjustments that have been made. I don't have any questions now either. The site visit was invaluable.
Okay, Penny?
Yeah, I just can't remember. Is there any fill being brought in where that garage is going?
Yes, there is fill being brought in.
So what happens to the trees on the side?
So there are 5 trees that are being proposed to be cut down, and they're shown on the landscape plan. And
All right.
there's a mitigation replacement on that plan too. And the replacement trees, I'm getting to it. Hold on. So there's 2 red maples, 3 flowering dogwoods, and 10 red cedar trees that are proposed to replace the 5 existing deciduous trees that are going to be taken down in that area.
Okay, and that's the only place you're bringing in fill, right? Is for where the garage is going?
Yes, we needed to allow access to the garage and to site it properly.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just want it clear right from the get-go. No fill out behind the house, no, just over there, right?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm done, Frank.
All right, let's see, where have I been? Richard, Penny, Brendan,
Eric.
Eric.
Oh, is Jen still here? I don't know.
She
Jen?
is.
I am.
Jen, you want to weigh in here?
It's quick. Sounds like a lot of good work has been put into it so far. I've got nothing right now.
Okay. Eric?
So I have a question regarding the removal of the vegetation on the rear of the house. There is certainly invasive species on the property, but Jeff, have you had someone identify what species are of invasive concern on that back slope?
I'm gonna punt to Darren on that because he's looked at that. I don't have that answer. Darren?
During our site visit, we had discussed there's some sumac trees that were pointed out to us, and we obliged and agreed to remove those and replace them with native plantings. And that's what we had put on our plan.
when I was on site, I had a separate visit from the rest of the group, and they looked to me. I didn't do a very, you know, I didn't go right up to them, but they appeared to me that they were staghorn sumac, which are native sumac.
Yeah.
Um, so that's just a concern of mine, is removing native vegetation and labeling it as invasive. I did notice invasive species on the property, which is why I also asked the question, and that was located behind the proposed garage accessory dwelling unit that would be going along the edge parallel to the second retaining wall. So if I'm clear, behind the garage, there's an initial retaining wall, a step down, a second retaining wall. And then that last step down after the second retaining wall that meets existing grade, there is significant Japanese knotweed in that stretch there. I certainly do hope that part of the mitigation measures that will be taken on site would address the entirety of that population, just because with any further disturbances, that does have an aggressive tendency and could potentially spread to other areas on the site. And I would hate for that to impact all the good work that you guys are doing elsewhere on the site. So that's my comment on the invasives that I noticed. I didn't, again, happen to notice anything in particular on that rear slope that was standing out as invasives to me at the time. So I guess I'm just a little curious about how we manage that back slope, because I would hate to have native populations of plants that are doing well removed. If there are invasives that I didn't happen to see, then of course we have to address those. And having the plant schedule in front of me for the mitigation, not for the site. I mean, I have both of them, but I'm looking specifically at this back slope area where you're proposing the mitigation, and it's a great plant list. So I don't want to deter anyone from installing wonderful native plants, but I also don't want to necessarily be advocating for the removal of plants that may in fact be native and doing well on the site.
Eric, you raise a great point. We did have, I believe that there's a note called out on the plan that indicates that that the invasive species are to be replaced. But I know that the owner of the property would be happy to accept a condition that requires him to locate, identify, what's native and what's invasive, such that we're careful to only remove that which is invasive. And I'm more than happy to accept a condition. We're happy to work with Jen on that to her satisfaction. But there's no intention to just kind of like remove everything. There always was an intention to identify. We just haven't yet identified all of it on the plan. And we're happy to do that for you.
Sure, Jeff. Thanks for pointing that out. And also that call out, I did miss that relative to the red shaded area. So I appreciate you pointing that out as well.
No worries.
So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Frank, I'm good for now.
Frank, you're
also
muted.
muted.
Sorry, I've been chewing on an apple between comments here. Did I get to all the members?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience?
I don't see any hands raised.
Jen or Mr. Chair, do you mind if I just make a very quick comment?
Sure.
I just wanted to point out that we are, in addition to keeping the footprint the same, we're actually retaining the existing foundation as well. I just wanted to spell that out specifically because it does result in less disturbance. So that's all.
Good to know.
It is.
Thank you. There'll be a new foundation for the garage, but the house foundation is going to remain.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Do we have anybody else in the audience? So go ahead, Jen.
No, I was saying just you, Frank.
Okay. So
Comments.
when we were out there, there's a strip of
Yeah.
land that was supposed to get revegetated as part of the orders for the adjacent site. If you remember, there was a driveway out there that got removed, and they were going to do some plantings, and so they have this strip that they're obliged to plant out on this property, and I guess some of it is the sumac. When I look sort of into that wooded area, a brushy area, I noticed some bittersweet and a few other things that probably would be good to control in there, as well as the Japanese knotweed. And I just wonder how well that's going to work to have this upper planting area and then have a lower one, and if it wouldn't be better to incorporate the two. Does anybody?
I'd like to see it on a plan, Frank, because I know you tried to explain it to me, but I wonder if they could show us that.
Can we scroll to page sheet 6?
Yeah, I was just going to point that out. It's there if you look.
There it is, and then
all
zoom
right,
in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Frank. Yeah.
We really tried. The site visit not only was invaluable for you, I think, as Richard had indicated, it was invaluable for us too, because it gave us the ability to really attempt to anticipate what issues you might want to see out here, what things you might want us to incorporate into the plans to make it the best plan we can. So this is what we came up with. We're trying to be responsive exactly to your comment, Frank.
Okay. I'm powering through here.
What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problem with how it's delineated, I suppose.
I think to your point, Eric, it's good that if and the owner's willing to look at that, is to evaluate plants that are within there that are already established and existing, rather than knock it all down and start over, the sumac and some others, but weed out the invasives and then fortify it with some other plantings.
Yeah, I think a blend of existing and removing the troublesome things and adding, with the proposed plant schedule for mitigation, I think is a great option. As it relates to the adjacent property, though, I mean, however that's mixed in, as long as whatever square footage is agreed upon, for mitigation for the adjacent site is folded in to this site, as long as there's no loss of square footage or plant material, I think, that's fine by me.
Okay. Darren, what do you think that can work?
Yeah, that's our intent.
Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else?
No.
Well,
No.
I think we kind of continued this one for a while. We've looked at it. We had a good site visit. There's a lot of existing out there. I don't have any other comments.
Can we close, Jen?
Yes, I think we can close an issue. I mean, anything I'm thinking condition wise, they've kind of have on the plan about field locating before they clear out that area. And I like to say reminders about driveways that if they were to change the surface of that, although it is out of our jurisdiction from a buffer standpoint, you know, be, the stormwater design is based on the driveway being crushed stone. So if they were to change that, they should talk to us. But otherwise, it's a garage and mitigation and a deck.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion, Ted.
And then just yeah, we could just work through some of that planting, whatnot. And I think the other part that the applicant brought up and continued to discuss, which it is important, but that secondary coastal bank, the fact that it's behind another house,
I know.
I think I'm glad that it's been acknowledged and we've looked at that, but I don't think that it has any bearing other than I think it's important for us to note that because there may be circumstances where a secondary coastal bank comes into play that may not be in the same scenario as this one. And the reason that we are evaluating this one in the manner that we are is because it is behind another home and an altered area.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yes,
Okay.
does. All right,
Yep.
okay, so I'll make a motion to close an issue, Jen,
Yes.
and with the comments that were made.
Do we
That
need
was
to pro-
Penny. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
do
What
you need
did
to do
go
you
ahead,
need
Chad?
do you need to approve the stormwater permit as well here? There was one that went along with the notice of intent.
Yes, we will be approving the stormwater permit also.
Thank you.
That's part of it.
And we got that,
That was reviewed by Merrill.
and
Yes,
they were all on
she's
board
all
with that
set.
one.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do them in the same vote?
It comes under this.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll all be part of the order of
That's
conditions.
all part.
All right. So
Somebody
we have a
second
motion
it.
from Penny to close, right?
Close an
Yeah.
issue.
Close an
There's
issue.
an issue. Somebody second, please. They don't want to second it.
I'll second.
That was Eric. All in favor, Richard?
Oh, we lost Richard. Where's
Richard's back.
Brent?
Richard,
How about now?
there it
Yep.
is.
Good. Yes.
Okay. Jen Foley?
She's not here.
Okay.
Well, no.
Brendan
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Did I get everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time on that review and all that and the meeting. That was helpful.
Mhm.
So we have 21 Central Ave, which has been requested to continue.
We
and
already did continue that.
That's right, because that one was
Oh, we
open.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we
But
vote
now-
actually vote that one?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Glad that somebody's on it. Okay,
We're
109
not here yet.
109 Jericho.
109 Jericho. You got a lot of
If
paper here.
if the applicant can raise their hand so I can unmute them, but you do need to open it, Frank.
Yes, I do. I got that in my
John.
hand. So on June 2nd, 2025, 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetland hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts General Laws, and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for request of determination of applicability filed by John Wolf to construct a patio extension and sitting wall located at 109 Jericho Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting is available on the agenda.
And the owner and applicant, John Wolf, is here to present his project.
Good evening.
Patio.
Good evening, Chairman Snow and Jen and board. Thanks for taking the time this evening. I know that you guys are probably exhausted, so I'll get right to the point. We are making the application to extend an existing sitting area in the front of our home that is adjacent to the Bay Ridge side. So we sit on the corner of Jericho Road and Bay Ridge, across from Museum Beach, and the proposed project entails extending it by 470 square feet of paver material and two sitting walls, if you will, So the extent of the project is to remove some existing pavers at the top of the walkway, hand excavate existing sod lawn to prep for the new dining and fire pit terrace and stone walls. Essentially installing layers of crushed stone, which already exists there with the existing patio, same material to be the base for the walls and the terrace, and compacting each layer as it's installed. The two walls will be constructed double-sided fieldstone sitting wall, um, approximately 2 feet high on one side, and it'll vary on the outside from 2 feet to about 3.5, depending on the height of the existing grade on the Bay Ridge side. Of importance, especially listening to most of tonight's meeting, is water intrusion, and you'll be happy to know that the walls will have two passageway openings on either side to allow for tidal and/or storm water flow. Um, as I said, the walls will be construction of round fieldstone that are porous, with some mortar that won't be visible, but to hold the stone in place. And as I said, it'll be on crushed stone, and also we will be using nitro sand for the joint material.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Um, who would like to? Oh, Jen Smith, you need to tell us.
Sure. So it's land subject to coastal storm flow, which is the area we're working in. There is currently a patio there, so they're expanding the kind of the fire pit patio, and then also to have an area to as they've drawn in to dine. Though they are proposing to have some slats in the wall. From the picture that we're looking at, Jericho Road is on the right. Just so you kind of know that, things are flowing across the front of the property. And there is some additional landscaping proposed, in front of these areas on the Jericho Road side, probably more than that, but I just wanted to note that also. Um, so I am curious people's thoughts.
Jen, thank you for that on the landscaping. Just to add to it, there will be a new bed, planting bed in front of Jericho Road. On the Jericho side, that will have a weeping cherry, a sweet bay magnolia, a small dwarf Alberta spruce, and along the Bay Ridge side, there'll be some uh, evergreen shrubs, some flowering shrubs, 5 hydrangeas, 12 call foster grasses, and then another tall grass. And then the area that is disrupted in terms of the existing sod will be replaced with sod as well in and around the new paver area.
Very lovely. Okay.
Okay. Richard?
Sounds nice.
Lovely.
Thank you, Richard.
It really does. It sounds really nice. I like the idea of all the trees and flowers around it. And I honestly don't have a whole lot to say about the newer revised area that you're doing, other than it really sounds nice. I cannot, and you didn't discuss it, and I would assume it would come up from Jen if she said it. The height of the property from the beach.
Kind of level.
From
I
the
know it's
beach?
well, yeah. I mean, yes. The beach is slightly lower than the street, and I'm assuming this is slightly higher than the street.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Is do you know how much higher? About. I'm not looking for inches here.
I'll see what I can find out, but I got to look it up.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'm good for now.
Okay. Penny,
Nope, I like it. Very nice.
Brendan,
I have no questions.
Eric.
Um, I think my question is really in relation to the wall, and where that wall is oriented relative to, well, relative to Jericho Road. I know you mentioned there's slats in it. Without a detail, it's really hard for me to sort of envision, uh, the height of the wall and the ability for water to pass through there. I guess that's my only real hang up is just visualizing that sort of what that wall sort of implies.
The
I
reason for my
think I'm
question
reading
about the
it.
height.
Yeah. Uh, um, that there is a seat wall, sort of a rectangular one on the Jericho side, if I'm reading the plan correctly. And then there's a curvilinear wall being proposed on the Bay Ridge side. Now, I guess the question pertaining to that is, are the slats on all of the walls? Um, and what is sort of the dimensions around the pass through areas that's going to allow water?
So thanks for that, Eric. The Bay Ridge side, the sitting wall is 2 feet. It's larger on higher on the, um, I'm sorry, I think I said it reversed. The Jericho side is 2 feet. The Bay Ridge side will be 2 feet to 3.5 feet because
Grade changes.
the grade does change.
Yeah.
The entrance areas or the passageways will be wide enough for a lawnmower, riding lawnmower to get through to cut the existing grass. So it's pretty large.
So there'd be just one pass through on the side that's sort of at the corner, facing the corner of Jericho and Bay Ridge.
There's two. There's one on the Bay Ridge side, and then there's one on the other side of the rectangular wall, which
Mhm.
is adjacent to the stairs leading up to the house.
Yeah.
I see. But there's nothing like built into the wall, meaning if water were to hit that straight surface running parallel with Jericho Road, water would not be able to pass through that. The slats that you're referring to are just the entryways to the patio area from the sodded area.
Correct, but there's a planting bed in front of the wall as well as the field stone is porous in nature.
Yeah. And the fire pit, is that a permanent structure, like a masoned structure that's part of the paver patio itself, or is that a removable fire pit?
So great question. So we have a removable fire pit that'll be inserted into an area that is a little bit more permanent.
And lastly, the table that's depicted, that's not a permanent structure, that's also temporary.
Correct. It'll be put away in the winter.
You don't want to sit out there in January?
Oh, hey, there's been
There's
nice
some
days in
nice-
January. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, that's true.
You
All
can
right,
sit on the
I'm good for right
wall.
now, Frank.
Anybody in the audience?
I don't see any hands raised, but I think I'm gonna need an explanation again about the slats in the wall to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. But Frank, you haven't asked your questions yet, so I'll wait.
No, quite honestly, just knowing where this is and being across the street on Jericho and how it's situated, personally, I can't see that this would have any impact, any adverse impact on anybody else. I know it's
No.
in these areas, but I just don't see that. I mean, to me, this is more sort of a compliance thing where it's located, but I'm not seeing this as being a real detriment to anybody else. It's just my personal take on it. So maybe you want to just give Jen a little bit more on the makeup of the slats or whatever would be good.
Okay.
If you can, John.
Sure. Essentially the slats are constructed material of the rock and enough space for water intrusion if in fact it were to happen to pass through. We purposely put the larger openings on the two sides. Really, the Jericho side too is also more for safety. I'm sure you guys all travel down Jericho, and as wonderful of a road it is to live on. Unfortunately, especially in the summer months, people do drive pretty fast. So it's also a safety wall as well. And so we've done everything to take into account the conservation component. And I failed to mention this, and I should have. A very reputable firm, what Cioni, is doing the project, and actually, you guys, they just recently completed over a period of time two projects that you approved that's very similar in nature at 6 Robert Drive and also at 179 Edward Foster. So the makeup of those projects will be very similar in terms of the fieldstone wall and paver patio.
I guess I just want to make sure that specifically the wall that's kind of running parallel to Jericho, that there's it somewhere water can pass through it. It's not just absorb it, but it can go. There's openings.
Uh, what? There's one opening.
Yeah, small one.
But like an opening in the wall, not like a place to walk through, but does that make sense?
No.
No.
Like, so I see where there's a place to walk through to access the patio, but I was interpreting the slats in the wall as somewhere, under, like you could sit on the wall, but somewhere underneath of it in the wall, there's a place where water can go through it. So we're not diverting water necessarily all the way around it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Frank. Someone.
Is that am I so there's one slat in the wall that's on the um section parallel to Jericho Road?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
I make a motion
Good.
for -3.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Now it's Eric. All in favor, Richard,
Yes.
Brendan,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Thank you. Thanks. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much.
399 First Parish Road, RDA, New England Power Company.
Yes, yeah, well you have the
Oh, I
thing
got
to
to read this
read.
one. I'm
Yep, and
sorry.
I'm gonna unmute Carmen Dancy.
On June 2nd, 6 p.m., Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 300 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, request for determination of applicability filed by Laura Ernst, National Grid, for installation of new transformers at 399 First Parish Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information and access to the meeting is available on the agenda on the website. Good evening.
Hello, this is Carmen Dancy from Power Engineers. I'm representing New England Power Company for the Scituate substation project. So this project is basically the installation of 3 new 115 kilovolt coupling capacitor voltage transformers, or CCVTs, as well as the installation of a conduit trench to connect the CCVT towers to an existing control house found on the site. All activities are proposed within New England Power Company's existing Scituate substation and located at 399 First Parish Road. I know that's a lot of jargon, but basically CCVT towers are transformers for high voltage systems that basically measure and meter the voltage that's coming in and going out. So it's a way for metering and also communication for what's coming in, what's coming out, and monitoring the substation itself. So the CCV towers will be installed on top of concrete foundations. Each foundation would be 8 feet by 8 feet in surface area and approximately 4.5 feet in depth. To connect these new towers to the existing control house on site, a conduit trench would be installed. The conduit trench would be approximately 130 feet in linear feet, and this would be installed via trenching. So it's a 2-inch PVC conduit that would be placed in a trench, and then the trench would be backfilled and topped with stone to match the existing substation yard. So one of these CCVT towers and less than 1 linear foot of the conduit trench is found within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland, which you can see is on the west side of the substation. So with that wetland found there, New England Power Company is proposing to install a perimeter sediment control on the west side of the substation within the 100-foot and 50-foot buffer zones, just to avoid any erosion or any issues. In addition, you can see we have the little numbers on this map, which the number 6 represents where we are proposing to have concrete testing and washout. So this is where once we pour the concrete for the foundations, when the concrete truck is leaving, this is where they could wash out the truck. This is proposed outside of any resource area, so it would be as far away as possible, but it would still be monitored and managed. In addition, we do have a proposed location for soil storage. For when the conduit is being installed, for any soil that might be stored overnight would be stored in this location, and it would be lined with a sediment control just to avoid any erosion and covered accordingly. The soil would be backfilled and reused on site, but if there's any excess soil at the end of the project, that would be removed from the site and disposed of at an off-site facility. Yeah, so beyond that, the proposed activities are exempt from the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act because it is a utility project that is contained entirely within an existing substation that is not expanding the footprint of the substation. The RDA that we filed is in accordance with the Town of Scituate's wetlands rules and regulations. The Code of Bylaws does not have an exemption for utility maintenance activities, which this falls under. So New England Power Company has planned this project to avoid wetlands to the greatest extent possible and minimize impacts as much as we could. So this RDA is being filed and seeking a negative determination as the proposed activities qualify as exempt activities under the Wetlands Protection Act. Thank you for your consideration and review. Does the commission have any questions?
Thank you. Jen, do you want to comment first?
Sure. No, I don't have any questions. They're filing with us because of some of this work being in buffer, but it's a, fenced in, previously disturbed, established area. So I do think it meets the requirements for a negative determination.
Thank you. Eric?
No questions, just a comment. I just appreciate the visual representation on this map here. It's very clear and yeah, just well done with all the assets being labeled. I appreciate it. That's all.
Thanks.
Brendan?
No questions. It looks good.
Penny?
I'm all set, thank you.
Richard?
All good, thank you.
Just a couple of things. When would this take place? Any idea?
Within the coming months. So before the end of the summer is the idea right now.
Got it. Okay.
We can send a notification to your commission before activities start if you would like that.
I think that would be helpful, please.
Okay. Yep.
And do you oversee more than just, I say just, I don't mean it that way, oversee this in the Scituate area?
I do. I personally do. I do a lot in South Shore.
Okay. So just it's just a pet peeve, but there's a transformer located at the corner of Tilden and Turner.
Yeah.
And the access to that is awful. Anytime that they've been in there quite a bit because they're doing a bunch of pole work in that area, and it's a mess. And every time there's a storm, there's silt and whatnot coming out onto Tilden Road all the time. I'm wondering, I mean, it seems like it could get just addressed with a couple of loads of crushed stone.
Yeah. Yeah, I can communicate that, bring that up the chain.
That would be helpful.
All right.
It seems like a simple fix, but I just noticed it this year because there was a lot of trucks in and out of that. Great, thank you. Yeah, well, everybody wants their power, so we're not going to slow you down.
Nope. I make a motion for a -3.
I'll second it.
Did I ask if there was anybody in the audience? I didn't see any.
Not yet, and I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Penny.
I make a motion for a -3.
I'll second it.
That's from Richard. All in favor. Brendan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Frank, yes. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much.
We got
one more.
Yeah, on June 2nd, Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for request for determination of applicability filed by Brian Smith for the installation of a paver walkway and patio located at 12 Concord Street, Scituate. Butters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting is posted on the agenda. And do we have somebody?
Yes, Brian Smith is here representing 12 Concord.
Good evening.
Hello there.
You just want to give us a little outline of what you'd like to do.
Yep. In the front of the house is an existing walkway that we will be, it's a concrete paver walkway right now. We'll be replacing it with a permeable paver walkway. Then we'll be adding natural stone steppers from the walkway around to the side of the house to the outdoor shower. Then we'll be doing a permeable walkway from the outdoor shower to the backyard where we'll be installing a permeable patio off of the existing deck.
Okay.
I like the stepping stones.
Okay. Jen?
Okay, so this is in Hummerock, so it's barrier beach and land subject to coastal storm flowage. He did provide a write-up with some details of the materials planning on using for this project for the patio. And I want to say this site was in a few years ago when they did their deck. So those are all the comments I have for now.
Okay. Richard?
I don't see any problem. This is yes, it's in the beach area, but it's actually on the riverside. I know the house well. I know the property well. My grandchildren used to run around on it with the permission of the Campbells. And actually used to launch their boat from there. My point is, what they're doing is perfectly fine from what I can see, and very nice, actually.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Penny?
Yep. I like it. I like it.
Brendan?
Yeah, I'm all set. Thank you.
Eric?
I'm good.
Okay. Anybody in the audience?
No hands raised.
Okay. Penny?
Make a motion for a -3.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Brendan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. And just an FYI, a -3 is good for you
It's
to
good,
go.
yes.
Yes, that's what you want.
It always sounds bad, but it's not.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we're down to some administrative items.
Nothing really.
Yeah, yes, the certificate of compliances, there's actually 4 of them, 282, 284, 286, 288. They were the seawall patio project. So they're just closing out their permits.
And it looks good, right, Jen?
I mean, yeah, we definitely went to the site, so it's I don't have much more to say about that. So that is closed up. That's all I got for administrative for tonight.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
Frank, you wanted to say something quick. Brendan's falling asleep.
He's not the only one, believe me. So I ran into a couple of folks from the community garden, Appleton Field, and it sounds like the benefits of the fish fry at the Methodist Church this Friday will benefit the community garden. So if anybody wants to get their fried fish and support the community garden, you can do both. And they also asked about the bridge that it gets access from the parking area, Penny, on 3A. I guess it's in pretty tough shape.
They had the funds. They got the funds.
So that's this is the only reason I'm bringing it up is that they just asked. They have the money, and they asked about getting somebody to fix it. I told her I thought they should reach out to Warren. I was going to share.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Have Warren do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right. I'm just trying to get up to speed on that one. And I
No,
know that
they've had the funds. It just kind of kept getting pushed aside.
Yep. Okay.
But Warren would be great. Absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
That's
I make a motion. Can I do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you?
All right. I'm doing it.
What I'd rather not do is talk about it any longer.
Okay. Hush up. I make a motion
1, 2,
to adjourn. Good night, everybody.
I
second that.
It's a second from Brendan. All in favor?
Yes.
I think I have 15 sheets of paper for opening hearings.
It was a record. This was a record night.
11? I think there's more than that. Holy
Well,
Christ. All right, you all have a good night.
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night, all.